welcome to Get Better, a show about two longtime friends trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. I'm Zach Johnson.
And I'm Sam Cherry, and this is what I look like, and here's my face.
Ooh.
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
It's going well. So for those that are unaware or are not currently watching us, we have a Twitch channel now. It's Twitch TV, Get Better Podcast. We're currently doing that live. We'll mostly, today's a bit different, but we'll mostly be doing these on Thursday nights, hopefully in the upcoming future, where we'll be, just putting out this content on both the podcast. So if you're listening to us here, don't worry, we're not going anywhere. But if you'd like some supplemental material, like things that we edit out, definitely me giving away my full address, and
oh shit, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you didn't think about that.
How you're just gonna give them their full address.
You can head over to Twitch TV / Get Better Podcast, where you can see that. But I guess you can't head over there now and see it. So just next Thursday, just be ready. But I am doing...
Unless you're currently watching it, yeah.
Unless you're currently watching it. But I am doing well. How are you, Sam?
I'm good. The reason we're recording on Sunday instead of Thursday is because I'm moving, and I had to go out to Colorado for the week to try to find a place to live, and we found a place to live, and I will never give you any details about it. But it is... we're really excited about it. So
fun out of all of the relationships we could have with the fan base. What are those relationships? The parasocial relationships we could have with the fan base.
Yeah, I certainly don't want that. No, so I am good. I went and I found a place to live. I then watched several videos about giants and whether or not they existed.
Okay.
Instead of doing the Tartarian reading because I didn't feel like it. So. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. How are you, Zach?
I did some management training in a cabin in the woods, which is very funny because, definitely going to be living the life of, the bourgeois. Manager training is really fun because when you're learning how to be a manager, they tell you to speak like how an alien would speak.
Sure.
It's like when you see an employee who is not being their best self or they're not living up to their full work potential, you walk up to them and say, hey, how can we together work to make you better? As in, like, how can you make me more money with you being less of a pain in my ass?
Well, to be fair, as the manager, it's actually, how can you make my boss more money without you being a pain in my ass or them being a pain in my ass? That sounds terrible.
So that's my brain is mush and
sure.
Yeah, just kind of sliding on through to the end of that. Hopefully, I'll be able to go back to the shop soon with a renewed hatred of
the working class.
The working class because they're beneath me, and it is my job to manage their emotions because if they knew how to manage those emotions, they would not yet be. They wouldn't be in the position they're in.
They'd have your job, exactly right. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
so
we need an underclass, but we resent them for being the underclass. Of course, yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And they definitely had parts of the videos that was like, you can also say this to your supervisor, and I was like, my ass, you can. Like, absolutely not. You can say this to a supervisor.
I'm really excited for my side. To join the new comrade in the revolution, Grimes. She's been doing some light reading of the 23-page pamphlet. Have you seen this? Hey guys, have you seen this thing? Have you seen this Grimes, guys?
Hey, Grimes.
What's the deal with this Grimes?
You mean what's on the bottom of my apartment? I'm a comedian and I'm lower class, so I'm just like you.
So Grimes, Grimes, she was dating Elon Musk and they broke up. And so she did a pretty obviously staged photo shoot of her wearing like a Mad Max Fury Road outfit and reading the Communist Manifesto, which I will tell you is a very short book. And she's just like walking around LA reading the Communist Manifesto. So I'm excited to have her in the revolution. You know, I'm excited to see what ideas she has. She did say that it was a meme, which doesn't make sense. Well, or she said it was like a, I don't know. But she was like, no, I'm not communist, but what I do think is a good idea is having a UBI based on crypto for gamers. And so I'm really excited for that in the future of our UBI gamer crypto.
Yeah, I don't know if that's in the Communist Manifesto, but it might be in one of the other ones. Yeah.
No, that's how it starts. It's there's a specter over Europe, the specter of UBIs tied to crypto based on gaming. Mm-hmm. It's like the first line. We have a world to win, Zach.
Yeah, not and unfortunately, none of it was based on gaming enough. You know, so
no.
That is the.
I think that's
gamers
where
gamers are the true class that is the oppressed.
Anyone can be gamers. Me and the Twitch audience of very few people have been hanging out, drawing some Mr. Smith art, as well as today I ran them through How to Change Your Oil in Car Mechanic 2018. Do you know there's a car mechanic simulator game that I love?
No, I don't. But you have become you're like a full-time gamer now.
Hey,
gamers, you're working on a speed running record. You are close personal friends with Grimes. You probably have cryptocurrency based on for gamers, you know. And now you're playing an auto simulator.
Yeah. No, I do have Dogecoin, which is for gamers. But yeah. So I got.
There's actually a Doge cafe near the North Office. So
so bad. What is that?
Come on down,
like a dog cafe.
you can. No. You mishear me. It is a Doge cafe, as in it is a actual real life place that will accept Dogecoin as currency for coffee.
Why? Why do they do that?
So there's a lot of reasons why to do things. One, because it is based as hell. Two, It is funny.
I don't know what that means, but
and three, it means that it's free money basically, because everyone is going to be so into the meme of Dogecoin that they're going to go to a cafe and. I think that's kind of the confusing part, because a singular Doge is only worth somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 cents. So is this cafe wanting you to buy Dogecoin? And it actually seems like this actually might be a great idea, because it might be. And here's why. Dogecoin. Okay. So I feel like the only way to get money from this cafe is to buy Dogecoin and spend it there. And
now you're saying sorry. They only accept Dogecoin, or they also accept Dogecoin?
I think for the purpose of this joke. For the purpose of the joke, they only accept Dogecoin. And so I think here's the idea. You walk in, there's an absolute Chad. He's in front of you. He's got on his fedora. He's got on a shirt that says like "to the moon." And you walk up to him and he says, "What will you get? What can I get for you?" And you're just like, "A black coffee." And he's like, "Oh, that's going to be that's gonna be 4,000 Dogecoins."
Sure.
And you're like, "Oh, I don't have Dogecoins because I'm an adult." And then he's like, "Not based and red pilled." And then he makes you buy Dogecoin in front of him, and then you spend the Dogecoin on the coffee, and then you just spent regular human money for humans and adults, but what he got was an opportunity for his money to go to either lose money or gain money on such a fluctuating scale that there is no chance that it is sustainable. But if it goes to the moon, then someone just gave you a bunch of free Dogecoin, which honestly you were probably going to spend your tip money on anyway. So this just kind of cuts out the middleman.
I'm always spending my money that I used to sustain myself on joke money. Although, except I say that, but I did do that one time where I bought 300 Dogecoin, which I still have, and it's worth $62. So my $12 is still $62, which is
to the moon. A real hodl kind of guy over here.
Well, now I'm just trying to outpace you because I know that you sold yours for an undisclosed amount of money. I know how much money it is, and so now I'm like, okay. Even though you had 2,000 Dogecoin and I only have 300, I'm just waiting until I can beat you. I want to beat you at cryptocurrency is what I'm saying.
Okay, you want to beat me at cryptocurrency, specifically with Doge, not with like another one that seems to be a bit more sustainable or goes up a bit more. Which
none of them are sustainable or sensible. They're all made up. They're all like, total made up.
Yeah, so to be very frank with the audience, and because we're just two boys doing a podcast, so I might as well say this as well. I invested into the world of Ethereum, and all I have done is lose money, which is very exciting. It gives you kind of a rush.
Have you been making NFTs?
I have not been making NFTs, as in I do not have a supercomputer or several computers in one room. So I have not been making NFTs, unfortunately. And I don't really know. I don't know if I have any IP that I can make an NFT out of.
So what's funny about NFTs, where it's funny to me at least, is that like a lot of people get caught up on the like this ugly picture of a dog or Lindsay Lohan as a dog, and that's the NFT. But funny enough, that's actually not the NFT, and it's funnier what the NFT actually is. I know that you know this, but for the audience...
Oh, I didn't even know what NFT stands for.
Non-fungible token. So so an NFT is like a string of characters, basically. It's a token. It's like a line of code, basically. I don't know exactly how they're formatted or how they're created, but it's like similar to Bitcoin mining, where it's like your computer does a bunch of nonsense, unnecessary math problems, and then it comes up with a solution to those math problems. Something similar to that is happening with NFTs, and it creates this unique token called an NFT. Now, somehow those are like tied or attached to a JPEG, but they can be attached to a lot of things. Like you can... I don't want this to sound like I'm actually defending NFTs because I think they're very stupid, but you could use like the Ethereum like contract system where basically if it was tied directly to a piece of music, for example, and an NFT, as in that string of code, was attached to a WAV file, every time that file was like sampled or used, it would like I'm excited for the viewing audience to know how much I burp during this show. Because it's a lot. I just burp constantly.
That is a very exciting...
it's a big part of the show for me,
that's
at least.
Like supplementary material. That's the real NFT.
Yeah, the non-fungible me burping and eating. Anyway, so if that token was like tied to a song, every time that song was sampled or that song was used in whatever way, it could trigger a contract, these things called like smart contracts that are all based in Ethereum or whatever, so that you could get money on that end. So it'd basically be a way to guarantee that that file always has a receipt to it. I think that is the idea behind like the actual good use for NFTs. So when you see someone be like, oh, this picture of Lindsay Lohan as a dog sold for $30,000, it's actually more stupid than that because it's not the image, right? It's not actually like that picture of Lindsay Lohan as a dog. It is a string of random letters and numbers, and that's what sold for $30,000. Because as everyone points out, like, well, can't I just like right click save as and then I have that same image? Yes, of course. What you don't have is the non-fungible token that is connected to it. Now, it sounds like I'm defending them. I think that token is worthless, right? What they are literally, they're like basically taking a word scrambler generator and then paying $30,000 for that scrambled set of words. That's what an NFT is. I think. From what I understand,
I think
crypto
that's
guys,
exciting.
I don't want to fucking hear it from you. I don't care. It all just seems like speculative fake money, and we should maybe just go back to making tires or whatever. But
yeah, I feel has this. Yeah, I guess this has undercover been kind of a recommendation station. You know, a recommendation station from Sam to do an NFT. That's kind of what I'm learning from this a bit.
that's not what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is learn how to change your
Okay.
oil. Next week I'm gonna come back on and on Twitch. Maybe not next week. Maybe like sooner than that. And tell you how to do a break job. Get real skills that are actually useful, and don't make fucking NFTs. Not because of the environment or whatever. Like, also, I guess, because of that. But don't do it because it's a dumb waste of your time, and you should do something else. Like, fucking... It would be better if you, like, got really good at Fortnite. Like, that would be literally a better use of your time than getting into, like, crypto shit. It's very stupid.
And here to get better, that's all we're trying to do, is to help you get better at making NFTs, so that you can make money off of them later.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Because you can always make an NFT, and also play Fortnite, and also learn how to change your oil. You can do all those things
Sure.
while the NFT is in the background getting money. Because it's only the one of them, so therefore it's actually stupid to not do it, because it's like you're not investing in anything. So if you're not investing in anything, then what good is learning how to play Fortnite, and what good is learning how to change your oil if you're not making money in the background?
there's like thousands
That's what I'm
of
saying.
good
That's
reasons.
my recommendations. That's my recommendation station for making an NFT. Anything. Just draw a thing and then make an NFT of it. That's yours forever, and it'll only go up in value.
Nope. And my whole point of what I was explaining is not only are they stupid, I don't think you actually need to draw Lindsay Lohan as a dog. Like, I think you can just generate the token. I don't think it literally has to be tied to a picture. That's just what makes headlines, because it's easy
But
to put
how
on
do you
Twitter.
get that? How do you get that IP? It's about brand recognition.
No, it's about
If anything,
literally
we
the
should do
string of
one.
numbers. Should our episodes all be
I'm
NFTs?
gonna.
People would be so mad at us, but wouldn't that be funny?
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and try to make an NFT of our little logo. I think that'd be a good. Yeah,
Zach, that's actually
I think that'd be a
funny,
good
and if you want to
string
do
of
that, that
numbers.
would be a good idea. I think that would be funny and a good idea.
Yeah, sure.
if we-
I have no idea how to make. I have no idea how to do that. No idea how to make that.
I've come around the bend on this, and it would be very funny if one of our episodes, like,
Okay.
let's find our
Yeah, no,
worst
this-
performing
this-
episode
this-
and make it an NFT.
Yeah, no, this. Yeah,
Like,
this
what
is
is this
definitely
the
goes
worst
back to
episode?
like our sort of. Yeah, not to get too inside baseball, but this goes back to one of my favorite episodes, one of my favorite things that we did, which was making the Get Better Bucks, which we did before
yeah.
NFT. And that was kind of around the time that was because we wanted to redo the Michelin star.
Right.
We
Get
wanted
Better
to-
Bucks. Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to redo Michelin stars specifically as it pertained to us getting bribes to mention a place if you just give us Get Better Bucks. And I think
I don't
that
think that's what it was.
an NFT is well. We also, I mean, we'd say like, "Hey, we went there and it was great. Like this place gets 30 Get Better Bucks or whatever." I don't remember exactly how it went down, but it was
I don't
a
really remember what
way
Get Better
of-
Bucks are either, but sure.
Yeah, it was a way of one reviewing Michelin star restaurants and it's bringing them down a peg. It's like, you know what? I had your swordfish, like caramelized and then like like served on top of it like a marble galaxy, kind of like in the movie Men in Black. And
Yeah,
honestly,
and there's like truffles or whatever.
20 Get Better Bucks. That's all you get. I was not that impressed. And giving them to other places. We basically just reinvented diners, drive-ins, and dives.
But we were trying to bring down the Michelin stars because we had 4 stars.
Yeah.
And they only have 3.
Yeah.
So we were actually not
Exactly.
trying to bring down the
Yeah,
restaurants, bring down the Michelin Star Committee.
Yeah, and so I think that you have to, there's got to be a guy on the inside. And why can't that be
Sure.
us? It's like I think we're getting a bit away from our original mission statement. And I think that with us
Get
being
our
on
bag.
Twitch for like the first time is to kind of to reintroduce our mission statement
Okay.
that got lost in the early episodes, which is get our bag. And get our bag primarily by dismantling things that are stupid. And this goes all the way back to the Mud Gods, which is
our original scam.
Who we are. Mud Gods, our original scam, which was about getting everyone to give us all of their money, the Mud Gods, so they would be free of the burden of their possessions, and then we just leave them in the woods somewhere. But we both get what we want. They get freedom from their possessions, and we get their possessions. But we just dress it
our
up
bag
in a little bit of we get our bag, and we also have to become kind of like gurus. And I wanted to specifically follow this journey all the way to me getting into the world of Silicon Valley specifically, just to be a spiritual leader of sorts, and then get our bag.
This is why, like, all that shit about me, like, talking about, like, Marxism and, like, the left and the labor movement, it's all just bullshit, because the whole point is so that I can better understand how to trick people into thinking they need to free themselves from their possessions. What I need to do is convince people that capitalism is bad, so that they will go into the woods, worship me as a mud god, and give all their money to me because they now believe that money is bad.
And honestly,
what's up?
We don't really need to be there all that much for the mud god part. We could probably just have like a scarecrow, or something like that, or maybe hire someone out on the weekends to be the mud god, or like kind of like have a bit of some, like we come up with and because this is a part visual medium now, maybe you could draw one of those if we can find out how to get that to work. I
could load up Photoshop.
Costume. Yeah, kind of draw up sort of like a costume of what the mud god would be, and then just kind of don that onto some like college kid who just needs like an extra little bit. And it's just like, hey, go to this place, be like, woo, 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 woo. I'm the mud god. You give me, like, you guys are doing great. You guys are really freeing yourselves from the whatever. And meanwhile, we're working on another bag, but more specifically, we're working on another bag from like Cabo or something.
Yeah, importantly, we're trying to get our bag wherever we can get it, but that involves first we trick a bunch of people into giving us their money. Yes.
And so I think that us getting an NFT is a good way to get into sort of the tech bro sort of thing.
Sure.
I would like to somehow get an NFT tweeted about by someone that says like, this Get Better NFT has moon potential. I would like for that to happen. Maybe like Soulja Boy or something, or maybe the Mark McGrath from a Sugar Ray. Yeah, I really think that would be good. And then to staunch fans,
I mean, spiritually, our podcast is all about Soulja Boy Tell 'em.
Yeah. I would really enjoy for that to happen. If Mark, if you could do that, that'd be awesome. So that we could pump, and then colloquially we could also dump that NFT. But the entire time being like, guys, I don't know what happened, but we're going to the moon.
I don't understand how it worked. I don't understand money, but you know what? This thing, it's going to the moon.
Yeah, and this is and to keep saying things like, guys, like they can't hold us back. Like meanwhile, we're gone. We have dipped so far out of that like coin, but we're just like, guys, we're working on it. We're getting us back to the moon. That was a bit of a failure to launch, but we're coming back. And then obviously, Mark, you can have some money, and maybe not. I don't really know how much money you need, Mark. I mean, the lead singer from Sugar Ray has to be doing at the very least okay. Like maybe not.
Did you say Mark McGuire or Mark McGrath?
I said Mark McGrath, but I know that Mark
Oh, okay.
McGuire is also a fan of the show, and so I'm glad you
Of
did
course,
say
yeah.
that, as so that we could differentiate. Um, Mark McGuire, you know what? You can actually hold back for a while. We will need you when we kind of try to. I don't. We'll need you for some sports things. So just kind of hold back for a bit. But I think this is better. You know, the lead singer of Sugar Ray. I feel like this has more. This is more of his sort of situation. I have a recommendation station. This one is going to
Wonderful.
seem kind of trite, because it is something that I feel just it doesn't need to have a recommendation station, but I recently watched it and it was delightful. It was the movie Singing in the Rain. Have you seen Singing in the Rain, Sam?
I saw it in film school. It's a lovely movie. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was. I was recently at a party where everyone. It's like a movie that everyone had heard of, but no one had actually seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you in the audience have been one of the type of people that have just heard of Singing in the Rain, and you know thought it was just like an old movie that there's dance in, that's exactly what it is. But I think that kind of takes away from just the immense talent of it. And I don't know if you guys have seen, or you, Sam, have seen the movie The Artist, which is
Yes.
a film about, it's a black and white silent film. Came out a few years ago. It won every single Oscar. It was
Yep.
about an artist that was struggling to make the move from silent movies to talkie movies. And
Right.
Singing in the Rain follows basically the exact same plot line. But it is a movie about these characters that are very good dancers, and I think much like movies, like some of the movies I thought of when watching Singing in the Rain was The Artist, as well as Hugo, the Martin
Sure.
Scorsese movie, kind of like drenched in this like very early film historian sort of vibe. But it
I think
is,
all those
very
movies
much
have won
based.
Best Picture.
Yeah, actually, Singing in the Rain didn't win an Oscar.
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
so I don't know it won that year for Best Picture, or Best Writing, or Best Cinematography, or whatever, but it was not
Right.
Singing in the Rain. I looked it up. It lost to Crash, so that's exciting. Yeah, that's
That's
I don't-
crazy.
yeah, exactly. That movie
Shakespeare
came
in
out
Love
almost,
seems
almost
to have
80
won.
years later. All right. Well,
Huh.
I mean, you know, when you know, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Movies about Hollywood always sweep at the Oscars. Like, if it's a movie about how movies are cool and Hollywood is great,
Yeah.
like that always wins. And
Yeah.
The Artist
And
Singing in the
how
Rain
stories are important.
yeah, and people who make them specifically
How-
are important. Yeah. The
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that
yeah.
make stories, they really like stories about themselves.
Yeah, and like how it's like these are the real, and we're the real heroes for telling these stories. And to a lesser extent, I've also found that Oscars about people that work at newspapers are also very much like,
Yeah.
this is basically what we do.
Right.
Like, you know how you broke that scandal about how the Catholic Church was moving priests that had molested children around? Like, when I wrote, like, Shark Boy and Lava Girl, that's kind of what I was doing in a way. And so we're the same. So I found that, yeah, like people that write movies about writing either movies or stories are the ones that often win. But Singing in the Rain did not win those awards, but it's incredible. I think one of the things that really stood out to me was it shows the roots of old Hollywood and how well or how much it was connected to vaudeville acts. And so Gene Kelly, I think either got his background in vaudeville or he is just an intense historian who loved that sort of upbringing. Because there's a whole sequence where they pretend to be vaudeville dancers. And that was much like, you know, Buster Keaton as well as Charlie Chaplin had gotten there, and like the Marx Brothers had all gotten their background in doing vaudeville shows, and how much of like old Hollywood really just is like, let's film what these guys are doing. They've been doing this for years. They kind of have a good grasp on it. But yeah, it's such a lovely movie. It is so funny and so charming, and I think the dance sequences are what I would consider is just disrespectful. They are
What?
so good.
Oh.
They are like they're so talented and so seamless in every single move that they do. It is an affront to everyone that watches it because it's like it's like watching the Olympics. You know, you just see someone do something. It's like, all right, like come on. So yeah, Singing in the Rain, great. And it is extremely easy recommendation station. One that a ton of people have heard of. But if you're in the audience and you've heard it's a good movie, I think that you just got to go out there and watch it. It is such a good time, even if you're just going to watch the dance sequences. But I would recommend watching the whole thing because it is so charming, so full of life, and 10 out of 10. I honestly do think that I'm bringing this up because I think that I put Singing in the Rain in the category of just being a perfect movie. I don't.
It's like Sound of
classify
Music.
movies as perfect. Yeah, like I think that, and because you and I talked once about grading movies on what they were going for, not necessarily what they are. Like, because if you gauge something on what it is, you will let your own biases in, and it's like, well, this isn't cinema. Like this, and like this can never. Be
basically,
cinema, or this
everything
can never
would
be
have
art.
to be. Everything would have to be like, is this Godfather 2 or whatever your like best movie is.
Or
like,
whatever your gold standard is.
Yeah, it's like, is Singing in the Rain Godfather 2? No.
This didn't remind me of Boss Baby 2 at all.
Yeah, of course, the greatest film in history, Boss Baby 2. That's what I meant to say. I didn't mean Godfather 2. So you need to, what they're trying to do instead of, so that's how something like the Fast and Furious series can be really good, whereas other films that are trying something else might also, I don't know, you understand. I've explained this before. Yeah, you get it. No, I would agree. Singing in the Rain,
and like I think it's like it rewards movies that, although they may not be the most high caliber of like Fast and Furious, it's like you can tell that everyone is actively trying and they're like doing something that is trying to like push the action genre forward. And you can even because of how well I think the Fast and Furious movies do this, you can grade the later Fast and Furious movies off of like some of the middle ones because it's like, oh, you guys really missed the mark. And like the mark is the thing you were doing just a couple of movies ago.
Right.
But yeah, I think that Singing in the Rain is just one of those movies that I think really probably put a gold standard and then almost a kind of killing blow to the dance musical kind of movies because of how good it is.
Well, I think it was one of the last really successful ones.
Yeah. And it's like probably watching that was like, you know, Brian Wilson listening to the who Brian? That's who's
Pet
the
Sounds.
guy from the
Beach Boys.
Yeah, Pet Sound. It was him listening to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which is like, well,
right.
That's the end of me.
Yeah, they kind of did my whole deal.
Yeah. So Singing in the Rain. If you haven't seen it, it is, I think that for what it's going for, which is a musical. Where there's dancing and comedy and lightheartedness, I think that it is a 10 out of 10. It is a perfect movie.
I'm just looking up when Sgt. Pepper's came out.
The other perfect movie is Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is the other perfect movie.
As always,
so
yes.
I have two perfect movies.
Unfortunately, I do think you might have gotten your stuff mixed up. Well, maybe not. Sgt. Pepper's came out a year after Pet Sounds. So maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe he did Pet Sounds, and that's like their best album.
They did Pet Sounds, and then they were like, we did it. Like we made the thing. And then Paul was just like, oh, that sounds pretty all right. I'll have a go at that. And then makes like a thing that makes poor old Brian have a mental breakdown because he was just like, I worked so hard. And then the Beatles were just like, well, I'll figure it out.
To be fair, Brian Wilson also fried his entire brain on LSD, so you know, that's part of it.
Yeah,
but a funny thing about
when in Rome.
A funny thing about Sgt. Pepper's is like there's this constant tension in the Beatles between John and Paul, of course, and John
Sexual
wanting to be
tension.
much more and much more like serious, and you can see in like a lot of the White Album stuff, like John is much more like serious and considered and like artistic, whereas Paul is just like having a laugh, like he's hanging with his mates having a laugh. And there was always this like tension between them wanting to do this like very artistic, high-minded thing versus just like, you know, drinking pints with your mates. And they would and John would not let Paul be extra silly. And so part of why Sgt. Pepper's like comes about is Paul being like, oh, what if we made a fake band as like, you know, and then that fake band basically just did all the stuff Paul wanted to do, like was goofy and silly and like talked about the big blue meanies and like all of just the silly shit that Paul loved. Was Sgt. Pepper's, but it wasn't the Beatles who did it, even though of course they weren't like, they did not think people didn't know it was them, you know what I'm saying? But it was this persona,
and it wasn't Paul, it was Billy Shears.
Yeah, it was the persona of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band that was actually being all silly and goofy, not the Beatles. And you know that, but that's like part of the story of how this band comes, or how that album comes about, and why it is so weird. And like Magical Mystery Tour is also like, I mean, also they were all doing a lot of LSD. That was part of it as well. But
yeah, you know, I that's why I really feel like, and you know, this cannot be guys talk about the Beatles and cryptocurrency the episode.
I love that though.
Yeah, but the last thing I will say is you can definitely tell that the White Album is everyone wanting to do their own thing as a giant cluster cuss, like both equal parts brilliant and ridiculous is all kind of condensed into the White Album, because everyone was just like kind of having their own thing, where a song where John wanted to be very experimental and like high art minded made Revolution 9, and then Paul was just like, and then Paul was like, what if I do a little song about a Rocky Raccoon? And it's
no.
And it's like it's like a little like a saloon type of thing. And what if it was as a honky tonk piano solo?
No, I think for Paul it's John is definitely Revolution number 9, and then Paul's over there like, all right, but what about Happy Birthday? And they're like, fucking sure, whatever. You can do your Happy Birthday song on the White Album. Like, they say it's your birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Like, that's a song on the White Album, I believe.
And they do, Obla Di Obla Da, and it's just
Obla Di Obla Da is great. Yeah. I think Piggies is on that album too.
It is, yeah.
God, I love the Beatles so. Guys, just out of frame, there is a giant Beatles poster in my house. I love the Beatles so much. I'm like, I had a whole Beatles phase in high school and never quite got out of it. I love them so much. But part of loving them is realizing how like goofy and dumb like I'm Fixing a Hole is, or like even back in the USSR, it's just like some of these songs are like goofy.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both. There you have the facts.
Yeah, and Revolution 9, which is a garbage song that sucks.
But you know, we have you know, we can recommend the Beatles and great things all day, but
recommendation data.
I hear that we have some friends over on our cyber script doctor who have some work for us.
So Script Doctor Cyber is a little different today because I am less prepared, but I have found what was brought to me is hold on. The people at Netflix as a part of Script Doctor Cyber.
Oh, Netflix. You know, funny thing about Netflix, and I know that like this is not going to really fall into this, but one thing I noticed that Netflix did recently was they gave a multi-picture deal to Addison Rae, TikToker Addison Rae, and I recently saw this movie called He's All That, which is a kind of a fun reboot of She's All That. And the thing about He's All That is it is a nightmare on wheels. But it's kind of a fun nightmare on wheels where Addison Rae's character, who is a famous TikToker in the movie, she's not Addison Rae, but she kind of is.
I believe you.
She has to he's all that, or in Nick Cannon terms, love don't cost a thing. Some boy.
Oh, is that the same movie?
Who? No, that is a remake of Can't Buy Me Love, starring Patrick Dempsey.
Oh, I see. You're saying the fact that it's a remake, not that Love Don't Cost a Thing is not also a remake of She's All That.
No, Love Don't Cost a Thing is a remake of Can't Buy Me Love, but He's All That is a remake of She's All That. She's All That is wholly original.
I'm aware of She's All That.
Yeah, so Addison Rae has to He's All That a boy who looks kind of like how you would reckon that Adam Driver might have looked in high school, in that he has kind of a gaunt face, but just a shredded body for no reason.
Adam Driver, yeah, okay.
And Adam Driver. And it's a nightmare. It is very, it's very bad, but in a very fun way. And Netflix just signed a several movie deal with Addison Rae, even though she made a bad movie. But
she failed up.
I think that, she failed up. But I think that this is kind of a new phenomenon that Netflix is doing. I've never really seen them putting the same actors who do very bad jobs in movies over and over and over again. I don't really see that as a continuous problem they've had in the past. But yes, but please get to your cyberscript doctor.
Well, the thing is, the people at Netflix came to me and they said, we've got a different kind of project for you. And they gave me a list of the 15 worst movies ever on Netflix. The 15 worst Netflix originals.
Which was an internal study.
Yeah, it was an internal document, not this ScreenRant.com article that I found. So I noticed something when I was going through the list, and I would just like to see if you notice it as well.
Okay.
Well, first of all, number 14 is the sequel, turns out, to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Didn't know that existed. And of course, number 15 is The Cloverfield Paradox, a movie that I liked and no one else did. And number 13,
I really hated that movie, but continue.
This is not actually what we want to talk about. I'm not just going through the list. But number 13 is called The Outsider, and it's about Jared Leto being a POW who then decides to stay in Japan and become a member of the Yakuza. Feels very The Master. Anyway, so what I noticed, let me get down here. Number 7, The Do-Over.
Oh wow, we're getting up there. We're moving.
Number 7, The Do-Over, 2016, 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, starring Adam Sandler, David Spade, and Paula Patton. Okay, scrolling.
Could have been Paula Poundstone. Yeah, we could have had that. We could have gotten that. We could have brought her in, because she's a podcast queen. So we could have. Next time,
I don't know who that is, but we'll bring her in. Number 3, The Ridiculous Six, 2015. This has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, which I didn't know you could get. It is starring Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider, Luke Wilson, David Spade, Steve Buscemi, which I hate to see Steve Buscemi in there.
That's tough.
That's tough for me. Danny Trejo and even Blake Shelton.
Yeah, not to. And there's actually someone else in that movie that wasn't mentioned there, which is kind of interesting. Taylor Lautner, who you might remember from my earlier joke about Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I'm aware of Taylor Lautner. Also from the movie Valentine's Day. So
his most seminal work.
Yeah, his most famous work, Valentine's Day.
No, I remember him mostly from Extraction.
I've never even heard of that movie. Number 2
that was just a movie he came out with.
The True Memoirs of an International Assassin, 2016, 0%.
Ooh.
And
that sounds actually really good.
Yeah, well, it has 0%. It is starring a woman whose name I cannot see exactly here in the article,
Oh,
and also Kevin James. And finally,
interesting.
number 1, Father of the Year, 2018, 0%, starring David Spade and Nat Faxon. Now, Zach, what you might be noticing is a recurring set of characters who all have their roots, of course, not their roots, but all come together.
Yeah.
In the film Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. This is, of course, Sandler.
Yeah, which
Spade,
is interesting because those movies are great.
All right.
I'm gonna quickly. Okay. I'm gonna see if does that group, because I know the group you're talking about. Do they have a name like the Rat Pack or the
Bad Movie Pack?
Rat Pack?
So what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is instead of fixing all of these individual movies, perhaps what we need to do is fix Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2.
Oh, okay.
And then it'll set them on a trajectory of making good movies, and none of these movies will exist.
Okay, now that's interesting that we're actually going so far off assignment, we're going to help some of Netflix's competitors, but in a way that it could help them later. Now that's fascinating.
Yeah, with successful movies. Movies that, despite being bad, were very successful and got sequels. Yes, we will be fixing them in a sort of time travel way so that these actors won't in the future make these movies, but somehow Adam Sandler still makes uncut gems. I'm not really sure, but I think we need to fix Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2 is what I'm saying. That's the assignment I was given.
I'd also, and like, you know, just as a bonus, we can also, if we have time, we can fix I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, if we have time.
Sure, also starring Adam Sandler and Kevin James. Exactly.
Yeah.
Something went wrong in The Matrix that these people just make very, very bad movies, despite being nominally funny, I think.
Yeah.
They're funny, right? Is Kevin James funny?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen... Kevin James had a stand-up special called Sweatin' the Small Stuff. It came out in the early 2000s, and for some reason, a very young and impressionable Zach loved that stand-up special.
Okay.
Couldn't get enough of it. So it is at the very least funny to a kid who was also sort of into the King of Queens. So
yeah.
Take that as you can take that, you know.
Billy Madison's
and also
funny, probably.
David Spade was in a show called Just Shoot Me, which I saw some when I was growing up, and that show was fine. David played a good role in that. He was doing stuff. He was kind of the sassy coworker. You know,
Eight Crazy Nights is funny.
Too much. Exactly.
Chris Rock is funny. He's not in any of these bad movies.
Yeah, Chris Rock's funny. He's in there. I mean, so, and you know, Rob Schneider is a demon. Hold on.
Yeah. He might be the problem.
Rob Schneider, because Rob Schneider isn't necessarily in those movies.
He's in Ridiculous Six, but that's it. Yeah.
But he's in them, but in sort of a role that is almost like a bellwether for something bad is about to happen. You know,
right? He's like the you can do it guy.
He shows up and he's like, me so horny, or, you know, whatever he's on to.
You can do it, yeah.
And unlike the rest of them, the movies that he has had, like Deuce Bigalow,
American Gigolo.
And Deuce Bigalow 2, European Gigolo, and Hot Date, or Hot Chick, I think. And
can't be the name of the movie.
And it's the one where he Freaky Fridays himself into the body of a girl, which was later remade called Freaky, with starring Vince Vaughn, which is pretty good.
Can't be good. Cannot be a good movie, but okay.
It is because it was made by the same people that made Happy Death Day, which is a great movie. I'll fight anybody. Yeah, so Rob Schneider was also in a movie called The Animal, and I vaguely remember the plot of that one being that he got animal powers or something. So it seems to me that maybe it's right. I can't.
You think it might be Rob's the problem?
No, I'm not really thinking that Rob's the problem. I'm thinking that Rob sort of relishes in the, like, from his standpoint, there is no problem at all. Like, he is doing exactly what he was sent here to do.
He understands the assignment.
Yeah, he understands the assignment, much like Chris Harrison, and to a lesser extent, much like the guy from Survivor, whose name I can never remember.
Jeff Probst.
Yeah, so they're kind of all on the same assignment, or they're all on different assignments, but from the same sort of neighborhood. Yeah, so it might now. I've never like kind of dissected them, because you never really think as Rob Schneider as being a part of the pack, but when he's around, that's when things kind of take a turn for the worse. You know, because we have
that's the problem.
We have
sure.
Chris Rock, and he's doing stuff on his own, and you know, when he's doing, you know, I Think I Love My Wife or Head of State or whatever he's doing, Rob
or just
Schneider
stand up when he's funny,
or just stand up. There's never a section where Rob Schneider comes in and goes, "Why don't you boner?" You know, there's none of that happens when any of that's going on, and
Zach,
so I think
I need to bring something to your attention.
Okay.
So I was looking up Rob Schneider's filmography.
Uh-huh.
And it took an evil turn.
Is it the Rob Schneider Show?
No, he's done extensive voiceover work in bad cartoons, and I just want to pitch where we watch every Rob Schneider movie in order called Into the
finally
the Schneiderverse.
Because here's the thing about that. We've had that's
what is it?
good.
Bring back the Schneider. Release the Schneiderverse.
No, release the Schneider cut. But
yeah,
also,
release the Schneider cut. But that's what we'll be doing.
Into the Schneiderverse.
So he in 2012 did make a knockoff of Kung Fu Panda called The Adventures of Panda Warrior, starring Rob Schneider, Haley Duff, and Norm Macdonald. May he rest in peace.
Okay. I think Norm is kind of like, that seems to me that Norm was playing some sort of 4D chess game where Norm agrees
Let me
to
get a
things that
fucking
he
check.
And also, I feel like Norm often, because I've seen the Norm Macdonald show, where when he interviews guests, sometimes he'll do something that only makes him laugh and makes everyone else like either angry or uncomfortable. So this seems like he's like, oh, this would be really funny.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going through this,
I think so.
And now he was in You May Not Kiss the Bride as a human. Good. But it seems like after that he did a lot of voiceover work.
Against PC culture.
Oh my god, there's so many movies here. Anyway, maybe we have to watch, maybe we have to release the Schneider Cut. That would be such a funny title. Release the Schneider Cut and watch all of these movies.
We've had ideas like that in the past. There was Cage Match, and there was
Murphy's Law.
Another one. But we didn't. Murphy's Law.
Yeah, the Nick Cage podcast called Cage Match. There was Murphy's Law.
The Cage Match one is
podcast.
That. But see, the problem with Cage Match and with Murphy's Law, it's that interspersed within them, there's good movies hanging out.
Now wait a minute.
Which I think was kind of the point of the project, was to kind of see what's kind of how we get from Leaving Las Vegas to Vampire's Kiss to like Kick-Ass to then like Pig, and then like kind of somewhere in the mix of that there's like the villain or there's whichever one where his head has the bees on it. You know, how do we like reconcile all those projects? Yeah, how do we reconcile all those projects together?
So you're saying the 1993 film Surf Ninjas starring Rob Schneider? Probably there's not going to be
1993.
The 1990, like the poster is
1993, the year of the Lord that I came into.
So
the year of the cock.
Come on, this is a family show. There are two children who are very buff, and they're on a surfboard, and then also Rob Schneider is photoshopped into the background, and he's surfing, and then there's a samurai who's drowning in a wave, and that is the poster for Surf Ninjas. So you're saying that couldn't be redeemed?
I think that unfortunately for our good friends over at Netflix, we're going to have the money keep coming in to work on. I feel like the Netflix movie problem we need to do a little bit of research. And so I think we need to pitch back to them
Okay.
how we need to get a grant to work on Into the Snyderverse, where we can kind of fully Schneider, yes, where we can kind of fully divulge like what it is that's making all of these movies so wrong. Because I do think I think we found out, and I think it is just. I think we will have to watch Surf Ninjas. I think we will have to watch American Panda or whatever it was called.
Who knows?
I think we will have to watch The Animal.
Unfortunately.
And, yeah. So.
So let's. Okay. How about this?
We were supposed to watch a monster movie, but The Animal.
This is the first week of October. We're good. We'll watch Frankenstein next week, but how about this? We pivot because we've been talking, little shop talk. We've been talking about how Script Doctor seems to be finding its end, right? Like it's a good segment, but like
possibly.
Yeah, I think we're kind of at the end of the road. 1984. I think 1984 was kind of the season finale, and now we've got a lot of.
Yeah.
Now I love the 1984 stuff, and I'm sure our Twitch channel will have a lot of us drawing and riffing about the 1984 stuff. But I think as far as a segment, we might be coming to the end. So what if we pivot and we change we replace Script Doctor with Cage Match, and that's what we do now. I
want to do the Schneiderverse more than I want to do Cage Match.
Okay, we can do. Is it Release the Schneider Cut or is it Enter the Schneiderverse?
They're both very good.
They're both very good.
I feel like Into the Schneiderverse is more accurate, but Release the Schneider Cut is funnier.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway, I think we're delaying this.
I think the Nick Cage one is like drinking from a fire hose, and there's only so much we can do that's like, wow, his acting is so off the wall. I think there is a special. I trust Rob to through his influence in a film, like somehow, like from the brief clips I've seen of the Rob Schneider show, he's like, PC culture has gone mad. I feel like he's gonna bring that sort of energy to the thing. I feel like with Hot Chick and Deuce Bigelow and The Animal specifically, there is that sort of like, men do this and women do this, and boy, wouldn't it be quite the thing if Rob Schneider, because I can't imagine him as like a leading man that someone would want to watch.
Sure.
And to watch him heading these projects, and so many of them, I think that it can only be. I don't think mediocrity is in the cards. I think it just has to be fully bad.
So can we assume that we are...
And I think his comedy has not progressed past when Jack Black very ashamedly did Shallow Hal, and how Jack Black was like, that was an L. That was a super bad move that I did Shallow Hal. I think Rob Schneider saw Shallow Hal and was like, holy shit, I'm going to do that as a career.
This is my whole deal now. Okay, so I assume we're going to skip the shorts and here's one where he's uncredited in Demolition Man. We're going to skip the TV series as well. So our first... I
want Rob Schneider led projects.
Okay, so you do want to skip Martians Go Home, where he plays Voyager Martian.
I don't feel like chronologically is the best way to do this. I think we kind of may have to bounce around a little bit. I really want because the way that this project, because we're gonna be stuck watching like some rinky-dink ones. I want to hit some hits pretty early. I want to do Animal, Hot Chick, or Deuce Bigelow.
Okay, and Surf Ninjas I think is a good. I think maybe Surf Ninjas is actually maybe a good place to start because that is a Rob Schneider led film that is also his early career. The one before it is when he's the bellman in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, and I understand why it would maybe be a waste of our time for our Schneider cast to talk about Home Alone 2. So maybe we start with Surf Ninjas and then we go from there. He's in Judge Dredd, but not in a big. Yeah, we start from there and we'll figure it out.
I want top billing Rod Schneider, and I don't want this project to last that long.
Good point, because I do not want to watch all of these animated movies, which he has made a bunch of.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like that's good. I feel like we've got a good thing going. I am so tired, and I have to stop recording this podcast. But yeah, I feel like let's plan on. Let's keep midnight movies. So we'll watch Frankenstein next week. But then after
next week's, y'all.
After the spooky season, we will get into the Schneiderverse with
release the Schneider
Rob
cut.
Schneider films.
Into the Snyderverse : release the Snyder cut.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You figured it out. That is the name of the segment.
We got to have our cake and eat it too.
Perfect. All right. Cool.
Well, anyway, that's our show. Thank you all so much for listening to Get Better. If you want to find more of our stuff, you can go to YouTube at Get Better Podcast, or you can go to Instagram at Get_Better_Podcast, and If you didn't already know from the beginning of the podcast, we also have a Twitch TV, twitch.tv/GetBetterPodcast, where Sam and I will do live recordings, and as you heard in this episode, we do have some bonus stuff that is just for the Twitch audience, where Sam and I work on some illustration ideas. Maybe it's Saving 1984, maybe it's an illustration of one of our older bits. Lots of fun stuff over on the Twitch channel, so go ahead and check that out and follow us on there. And if you want to reach us, you can reach us at meetthefockers2 fockedup@gmail.com. That is meetthefockers2 fockedup@gmail.com. And finally, I'd want to say that if you're listening to us on iTunes, please leave us a rate and review. And listen to us on Spotify, just continue to do so. And that's all I have. So see you guys next week.
All right.
All right.
See you. Bye forever.
See you. Bye forever.